chosen one. The people are shocked that you are the real boss. They never saw this is coming. The quiet one, the person they thought they had to figure out, nothing more than a migrant of their own assumptions. They believe you were predictable, someone who wouldn't challenge the status quo or dare to disrupt authority. But they were that but they were dead wrong all the time. You have been watching, calculating, and waiting every move what they made, every word what they spoke. Absorb all like a strategists prepare the battle. You never need to announce your presence because true power moves in the silence. And now the moment has arrived. The moment they finally see the real you, they look at the shock. Their face will be priceless, not composed. The manner they once mistook for the positively. It was never weakness, it was the calculate tactic. And you were never beneath them until you were always beyond them. At first, you shift the subtle hesitation in their voice. An easy glance, they think you are not looking, but you are. You see the old unraveling beginning as a realization, dawning upon them. They dismiss you, spoke over you, and ignore you like a background noise. But now something has changed. The change is something they cannot quite explain. And the energy shift, heavy, undeniable, unshakable. The stumble of the words, second guess, the confidence and the fumble through the interactions. The ones feel effortless for the first time. They don't know where they stand with you. The certainty they once wielded like a weapon, now feeling like a fragile in your presence. Assume they had you figured out that you were safe, predictable, and easy overlook, but what they failed to see was that the quietest forces in the room was over most formidable. You didn't change. They were just blind. Exactly. And blind, the power was always there. The hidden, the plain sight, blind to control you always had. But they never fronted the blind to the truth. And while they were busy underestimate about you, you were simply waiting for the moment they forced to see you for what you are, who you are, and now the moment has come. For the first time, they hesitated before speaking. They seek your approval, unsure if they still have permission to treat you as the afterthought. They feel the shift dynamic. For the first time, recognize that you were never beneath of them. They were always beyond them in their world. Power have always been about the violent, the idlest voice, and the big presence, the constant demand for the attention. They believe dominance have to perform, shouted, displayed, because you never played the game. Dismiss, they mistook your silence, irrelevance, and your patience for weakness, and your ability to observe lack of the presence. So they roll off nothing more than a spectator, and shadow in the background their self-important narrative. For a while, left them because you knew something they didn't. True power doesn't need to announce itself. You never need a validation from those who couldn't see you the past. They own the illusion. You never need to the spotlight. The perception and was never your concern. But now everything's different when you walk into the room and you feel a shift, a pressure, a presence they cannot quite define. It's not that you have changed, it's that you have finally been forced to open their eyes. And now they don't know how to reconcile to who you are and with the assumption they once had. This is contradictive dissonance and its finest, and you have no choice, and they have no choice but to see you now. So the one they once assumed was beneath them is now the one who effortlessly outshining and the honoring, and you never had it tried. It's not like you suddenly become more. It's just you were always the same. You were the simple to elegance to see it, and now the realization is eating them alive. Every moment they overlook you, dismiss you, underestimate you, you were watching. They believe they were in control, never realized that you were the one taking the note, gathering knowledge, and stacking to the silence. Victor and victory, and why they waste their time, underestimate you, and now you feel they don't have exactly what to change. They know their confidence in your presence isn't the same. They don't move the same way around you, and they don't speak to you the same way. At the most unsettling part, you didn't do anything. You didn't argue. You didn't demand recognition. You never have to prove yourself. It simply exists. And that alone was enough to shake their perception, the power, to the core. Let them struggle, we just let them scramble, and because you were never nobody, just weren't ready to face what you really are. Are you allow them to place limit on you, to define you through their narrow perspective, to believe you were the predictable, safe, easily controlled, and it was never your job to correct them. You knew that when the moment come, and the illusion would be shattered, and it did. The ship was immediately. You saw it happen really time. They were expression change, the way they postures stiffen, and the way scramble make sense, something like no longer within. Then craftily, perception of they had confidence when they thought they had control. They believed you were the small, insignificant, but now that the confidence have turned into the uncertainty because the version of you they create in their mind no longer match. It's like undeniable forces standing before them and terrify them. Not because you are loud, but because you are aggressive, or because you don't have to be. Your power isn't performative. It's undeniable. They feel it's every word you speak and every step you take. Not because you have changed, because they cannot no longer pretend. It doesn't matter. The battlefield and perception was never about you proving yourself. It's was about them realizing they were wrong, and now they cannot unseen. They cannot undo. They cannot take back the moment they recognize they never truly knew you at all, and then mistook silence for the insignificance, and they mistook patience for the passivity, and mistook you for someone who could be controlled. They won't make another mistake again. So they once believed you were harmless, quiet presence, passive observer, someone they could overlook without consequence. But now they look better. They thought they could toy with you, dismiss you, walk past without a second thought. In their eyes, you were nothing more than a shadow, small, unimportant beneath them. They saw what they want to see, a moose, harmless, significant, and you let them believe because that's how the real power works. The deadliest predator don't roar before they strike. They don't announce their presence or put on the shadow of their strength. They wait on the weight of every insult, every underestimation, every moment they let their guard down. You were watching. You calculate their every move, their every assumption. You saw the way they operate, the way they mistook their elegance for the invisibility, and they weren't they were not leading. They were walking straight into the hand. Now you feel something off. The certainty they once had sleeping and the confidence they once flaunted so freely has started to crack. They sense in the way the energy shift when you enter the room, in the way conversation suddenly don't flow easy. They hesitate, second guesses, and scramble, reclaim the control. They never saw it coming. Not because it wasn't there, but because they weren't looking. They saw they knew you, believe they have figured out you already. A predictable, small someone who would remain in the role and they had assigned to you. So, but now the whisper begin, the sight of the eyes, the cry of the recalibrations, subtle shift energies. It's not loud, not obviously, but you can feel. They are watching you differently now with the dismiss, not with amusement, but with certainty. Uncertainty is the first step forward, because once they realize they never truly understood you, they are forced to ask themselves much bigger questions. What else have been the blind? Because that's the questions in the beginning of the downfall. They thought they had to box you in the world, control everything, predictabilities and manipulation, keeping people in check to them, and you were the safe, unthreatened, unremarkable. In the quiet one is background, the carefully crafted narrative until you were not, and now panic setting in. They cannot figure out anymore. Every move you make shatters the version of you they once believed. They were so certain every assumption they made about you. You feel like a fact in their mind. And now every shift you energies contradict the person Although they knew and they terrified, people grabbed control. What happened when they realized they never had control over you in the first place? They try to adapt and they are too slow and they attempt to anticipate your move, but they're already behind you, navigate in a way. They cannot predict, react the way. They never accept the remain unshackling in the situation they once thought would rather you. They used to feel superated. Now they feel small. They used to dismiss you. Now they second guess themselves. They once believed they could manipulate you only to realize truth. So that you were always watching, always calculating, always waiting. What haunts them is most. You are still not showing them everything. The uncertainty, it aware of them and then not knowing. How deep does your knowledge go? How much power are you holding back? How many steps ahead are you at this very moment? They scramble to adjust what they don't have answer. All they know is that the quiet one they once overlooked is now most dangerous presence in the room. You don't need to demand attention. You never did, because real power isn't found in the volume of your voice. The force your word is your presence, and now presence command everything around you. They fear before they understand it. The same one who dismissed you, who treat you as the afterthought, now hesitate. The confidence wavers and the tongue softer without realize. They seek your approval. They adjust their behavior. When you enter the room, the very energies bend in the direction at first. They laugh at you, mock your idea, dismiss your presence. Now they copy you. But some people also once looked down on you. Now they mirror your work, your style, your accent. But no matter how hard they try, they cannot replicate because it's not original. Because what they after is they don't have an inner spiritual. They after isn't just the way you move. It's the energy behind. It's the energy cannot be stolen. They used to act as you didn't exist. Remember that the force small talk, the way they overlook and unless serve their interests. Now they linger in your space, hoping